Albert Einstein, the Buddha found what he was searching for. Einstein, the genius physicist known for his groundbreaking theories on relativity, and Buddha, the enlightened spiritual leader whose teachings have inspired millions. At first glance, you might think they have nothing in common. But hold on tight, because we're about to uncover a mind-bending connection that will leave you in awe. I am a devout non-believer in religion. However, Buddhism is the only religion that could effectively address the demands of contemporary science. Albert Einstein. Buddhism has all the makings of a religion that will be practiced by all people in the future. It is founded on a religious feeling that emerges from the experience of all things, natural and spiritual, as a meaningful unity. It transcends the idea of a personal God and avoids dogma and theology. It also embraces both the natural and spiritual worlds. If there is any religion that could correspond to the needs of modern science, it would be Buddhism. Albert Einstein. Buddhism was not only a spiritual religion in Einstein's view, it was also a philosophy of life, a holistic view of the cosmos and humanity that demonstrated the coexistence of spirituality and science. He felt that Buddhism gives a flexible attitude, providing doors to profound understanding of the nature of the universe and our place within it. In a world increasingly ruled by technological and scientific advancements, what do spirituality and science have in common? With his general theory of relativity, Albert Einstein, an unwavering figure in scientific history, marked a watershed in human history and ushered in a new era in our comprehension of the cosmos. He found that space and time are not distinct concepts, but rather are entwined and vary depending on the observer's position and speed. Beyond just a formula, the equation EMC2 makes a strong argument for the unity of matter and energy, which advances the discipline of physics. But Einstein was more than a mere researcher. In addition, he was a brilliant philosopher and thinker who went beyond the bounds of scientific theory to find a way to reconcile philosophy, science, and religion. His understanding of religion reflected a soul that was constantly seeking beauty and truth, rather than a mindless faith, but rather a deep respect for the order and wonder of the universe. Because of his ability to bridge science, philosophy, and religion, Einstein came to represent endless inquiry and the quest for knowledge of the universe. All nature's mysteries are ununderstandable by humanity. The Buddha imparted to humanity a profound lesson that allowed one to completely explore the mind's limitless capacity, which in turn led to a profound comprehension of the outside world and, in the end, to freedom from the never-ending cycle of reincarnation. The distinction is that, whereas Einstein looked outward for solutions to the puzzles of the outside world, the Buddha focused inward, approaching enlightenment via observation, wisdom, and sincere thinking. While Einstein and the Buddha both approached their work with a scientific mindset, the Buddha was adamant that information ought to be accepted without question. He pushed for open-minded verification, based on logic and first-hand experience, accepting only that which has been demonstrated to be true. The Buddha attained the profound wisdom he sought via this way. Einstein highlighted the value of morality and honesty in people, but he thought that fear or the prospect of punishment from God or any other force should not be the foundation of morality. He declared, human ethics do not require a theological basis. Rather, they should be grounded in compassion, knowledge, and social obligations. It is depressing to think that the only things holding people back are hope for rewards after death and fear of punishment. Humanity is a wretched species if the main reason for its goodness is its fear of punishment and desire for rewards. Albert Einstein, Religion and Science, New York Times Magazine, November 9, 1930. Although Einstein rejected the idea of a personal God, he was unable to explain the universe's orderly and elegant creation. He said as much, "I have never disputed that I do not believe in a personal God. I have only made this apparent. If there is anything religious about me, it is an unbridled appreciation for the world's structure, as far as science will allow it to disclose itself. Rather than a God who cares about the decisions and deeds of people, I believe in Spinoza's God, who makes himself known in the harmonious order of things." Albert Einstein, 1954. God is nothing but nature. What is the God of Spinoza, as mentioned by Einstein? The Dutch philosopher Spinoza claimed that God is nothing more than nature. Matter, energy, atoms, molecules, life, thought, individuals, societies, galaxies, and maybe even numerous universes are all present in Spinoza's universe. But nothing, not even spiritual phenomena or other phenomena beyond our current comprehension, exists outside of nature. They are a chapter of nature if they exist. Buddhism holds that the cosmos is governed by 5 natural rules, or the 5 niyamas, which are what cause everything to occur. Action, or karma, is merely one of those components. Numerous shifting forces have led to the current state of affairs. Everything exists in the manner that it does for a reason. I have repeatedly said that in my opinion the idea of a personal God is a childlike one, but I do not share the professional atheist's fervor for battling theism, whose enthusiasm mainly stems from the painful liberation process from the religious indoctrinations of youth, Einstein wrote. This statement makes it very evident that even though he rejected God, he was not an atheist. My preference is for a humble attitude that acknowledges the limitations of our cognitive comprehension of the natural world and ourselves. The middle way. The Buddha was opposed to the conventional Hindu belief of God creating the world, eternalism, as well as materialism among those who do not believe in God. He was the first philosopher to reject the notion that the soul is an unchangeable entity. Einstein appears to have supported both of these ideas. Einstein displayed humility in his prior statement, acknowledging the limitations of his expertise in unraveling the world's mysteries. Let us consider Einstein's words. A human being is a chapter of the whole called by us universe, a chapter limited in time and space. He perceives himself, his ideas and feelings as distinct from the rest, a type of optical hallucination of consciousness. This fallacy is like a cage for us, limiting us to our particular desires and affection for a few people close to us. Our job must be to break free from this cage by broadening our circle of compassion to include all living species and all of nature's beauty. Nobody can achieve this totally, but striving for it is a chapter of liberty and a foundation for inner stability. This concept is consistent with Buddhist teachings, notably the middle way, which avoids the extremes of eternalism and nihilism. It emphasizes interconnection, as well as the value of compassion and understanding beyond oneself, with the goal of achieving spiritual emancipation that offers inner serenity and a greater connection with the universe. Einstein, the Buddha, and understanding the universe. Physical concepts are free creations of the human mind and are not, however it may seem, uniquely determined by the external world. Einstein. This comment from Einstein expresses a profound perspective on how we understand and generate information about our surroundings. He claims that physical concepts, how we define and interpret natural phenomena, are not solely governed by the external environment, but rather are products of the human mind. In other words, while the natural world exists independently and obeys its own rules, the way we grasp and interpret it through physical conceptions and theories is our own invention, based on observation, reasoning, and imagination. Einstein stressed science's flexibility and innovation, as well as the truth that there is no single method or definitive answer to any subject. This creates opportunities for scientific innovation and advancement as scientists build and alter their theories to better reflect the natural world. This approach emphasizes the necessity of knowing that scientific knowledge is not absolute. Scientific conceptions and hypotheses are constantly challenged and revised as new facts and worldviews emerge. Remarkably, the Buddha, who lived 2,500 years ago, stated a similar idea, albeit in a different way. All notions such as cause and effect, sequence, atoms, basic elements, are all figments of imagination and manifestations of the mind. The Buddha, the self, is not a rational concept. The Buddha believes that the concept of self is not reasonable. The self is simply an emotion. So, Awareness is an illusion, and the sensation of self is simply a brain activity. Humans live in an unconscious dreamlike condition, believing in their own existence. As a result, individuals become dependent on conceptions and forms, unaware that they are nothing more than mental activity. The Buddha declared that this misperception will impede humanity's freedom. The Buddha called this ignorance, or anatta, non-self, which Einstein defined as the illusion of consciousness. The Buddha's remedy to assist us escape this prison is to develop and purify our minds while following a clear road, the Noble Eightfold Road and Four Noble Truths. The Buddha's path also includes showing unbiased compassion to all beings. According to the Buddha, attachment, desire, causes suffering, while also preventing escape from this prison. According to Einstein, this prison limits our love to our closest relationships. He stated that compassion must embrace all living beings in order to escape this prison. Einstein's effort to explore the mysteries of the world can be seen through this statement. The most beautiful and profound experience is the sensation of the mystical. It is the sower of all true science. He to whom this emotion is a stranger, who can no longer wonder and stand wrapped in awe, is as good as dead. To know that what is impenetrable to us really exists, manifesting itself as the highest wisdom and the most radiant beauty which our dull faculties can comprehend only in their primitive forms. This knowledge, this feeling, is at the center of true religiousness. Albert Einstein, The Merging of Spirit and Science. Einstein, the Buddha, and Understanding the Universe. Einstein stated that, despite its enormous intelligence, the human intellect is still incapable of fully comprehending the universe's unfathomable secrets. He never stopped admiring the beauty and order with which nature operates. He described this acceptance and better understanding as authentic religiosity. An intriguing interaction between the Buddha and one of his students reveals a similar approach. The disciple said, "Lord Buddha, how vast is the universe?" The Buddha responded, "Does knowing the size of the universe help you escape from suffering?" When the disciple conceded that it did not, the Buddha replied, "Then why focus on matters that do not help in ending suffering?" Buddhism emphasizes that instead of becoming preoccupied with metaphysical inquiries and curiosities that do not address humanity's central issue, suffering, one should concentrate on determining the causes and answers to it. Buddhism sees the universe as an infinite circle of cause and effect that exists eternally without a precise beginning, but with cycles of renewal and new eras beginning. The lesson shared by Einstein and the Buddha is to free oneself from unnecessary constraints by expanding one's mind and compassion, striving for deep understanding and completely tackling the problem of suffering and the cause of suffering. Buddha taught that those who are concerned with the origin of the universe and other topics are being distracted from the purpose of religious practice. This lesson is commonly illustrated by the tale of the poisoned arrow. Suppose a man gets shot with a poisoned arrow, and his relatives and friends locate a medical professional who can extract the arrow. Should the guy declare, "I refuse to have this arrow taken out until I have confirmation of the shooter's identity and family, and whether they were a merchant, priest, or prince. Until I find out what sort of bow was used, and if the arrowhead was iron or of the regular variety, I won't permit it to be taken off." He won't likely get another chance to hear the replies before he finds out all of this. The Buddha uses this anecdote to teach us that solving immediate issues like pain and a lack of calm in life is more essential than studying the genesis of the universe or engaging in comparable pursuits. Renowned philosopher Bertrand Russell previously gave an explanation for his acceptance of the Buddhist theory of the beginning of the universe. "Of all the religious founders worldwide, I hold the Buddha in the highest regard. The first cause is that the Buddha said nothing concerning the world's beginnings. The only teacher who understood the actual character of the world was the Buddha." Russell Bertrand. It's interesting to note how much attention psychologists and scientists in the present era devote to understanding the mind and brain. In Western psychology and medicine, Buddhist meditation techniques, including mindfulness, breath meditation, and compassion, are frequently employed. In the future, it would be fantastic if more scientists with the same vision as Einstein came out to close the knowledge gap between science and Eastern philosophy.